everybody, to another episode of Half a Clue TV Review, where we will be talking about Peacemaker Season 1, created by the eponymous, the amazing James Gunn, the creator of, well, not creator, but he is the director and writer of the MCU Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, very much their own thing, although they've kind of bled over into the comics now, as tends to happen specifically with Marvel more than anything else. But yeah, their comic book counterparts have now carried over to become true canon in the Marvel universe, which is interesting.
Yeah. And it's like now it's one of the most, it's weird, Guardians of the Galaxy. I remember seeing them in like cartoons every now and then, but they were never really like, especially Groot and Rocket, they were the two ones that pop up the most.
Yeah.
But now like Star-Lord is like a mainstream hero now, which is crazy.
It's weird. I imagine something like that will happen with Peacemaker.
Oh,
now.
It already has.
Yeah.
It already has.
It's like, because again, he likes to take those obscure kind of characters that most people don't really know or have that much attachment to or care about, and then just change them into something completely different. So if there were Peacemaker fans out there, congratulations, I guess. You know?
Yeah, you stuck it out. You're honored. Your faith was rewarded by James Gunn.
For real. Although I don't know if you're happy or disappointed that now I'm sure this character seems very different than what it is in the comics. So for better or for worse, this seems like what's probably going to become. Which is like, honestly, it's a fun approach. Yeah, I like it.
What's it called? And this is a continuation, a sequel to the James Gunn, the Suicide Squad, the only Suicide Squad in my mind.
Yeah, the one and only.
And it follows Peacemaker after his battle with Bloodsport, and he got shot in the neck, but he survived, and he's hired by Argus to take on the butterflies, which are these intergalactic species that enter your nose, your mouth, or your anus to like control Mothra? You. Yeah. Oh, if Mothra was like super small. Well, can you imagine in real life this kaiju Mothra entering people? It's like, oh, it'd be so painful. Oh god, your innards be ripped apart, your ass. It's like the weirdest like kaiju porn I love.
I'm pretty sure you just explode, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that would be sexy. I'd be trending on Pornhub. You know
anyway.
Please make kaiju porn category a thing.
Yeah, it's
on
Pornhub. New brand of hentai.
Or X videos.
I'm pretty sure that already exists. That's just hentai.
Yeah, but imagine somebody did a live action. Now that's props. It's like with practical effects and everything. With famous porn stars and stuff. Like Johnny Sins and shit. Okay, let's go back to Peacemaker, which is also its own form of porn.
It's visual comedy porn. It's hilarious.
Yes. What's it called? Okay, so overall, what were your thoughts going into this? Were you a little hesitant, or were you just excited? Like, Eddie James Gunn, I'll lay my ass out. He could do whatever he wants.
I was a tiny bit hesitant. I was like, I'm a big James Gunn fan. I've loved pretty much everything he's made so far, even like some of his shorts. Like speaking of porn, like his porn shorts.
Oh yeah, the one with like, I think he's like a car washman or handyman.
Yeah,
and then she's like, oh my gosh, you want to do it? I was like, yeah, I want to do it. Let's make sure to do it like something like your capacitor.
Yeah. He's just he's the guy that doesn't realize he's in a porn. It's so funny. But yeah, those bits have been hilarious. All those movies from Slither to the new Suicide Squad, I've really been a fan of. So I was excited, but the fact that they were spinning off to make an HBO show about Peacemaker, I was like, damn. I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, because it seemed like his character died in the Suicide Squad movie. I don't want like Warner Brothers or DC just to be milking him because they're like, ooh, people like this character. Let's like try to make a whole show about that. But I had faith in James Gunn. I trusted his abilities because I think he's a legit good writer and filmmaker. So I'm like, all right, let's see what he can do. I'd be fascinated to see what he can do with an HBO show with like a budget. It doesn't seem like it was a huge budget, but
it was enough. At least it went to the effects pretty well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, which I applaud it because I think it was used very well because it's a great looking show. So I was excited and honestly not disappointed. So yeah.
I'll say this with Peacemaker going in. I was a similar hesitation. I was like, okay, but then again, I was like, yeah, I trust James Gunn, and look, I honestly, even more than James Gunn, I trust HBO for the most part. I mean, like to the point where I was like just listening to their investors and like reading the notes. You would think with the whole HBO Max thing, and they would make more Sopranos stuff. Yeah, and then what's it called? Especially Many Saints of Newark, apparently, like now Sopranos is like trending #1 on HBO Max for a bit after that movie. And they even asked David Chase, "Is there more Sopranos?" And he's like, "As of now, like at least sequel to the series? Like, no, like following the kids. And they're like, yeah, sure, okay, you're right. I don't think creatively works. And I'm like, that's major kudos to them, because unlike Paramount Plus, it was like, okay, we're gonna make the making of The Godfather called The Offer, and then we're gonna think about following the oh gosh, what the third he's the main character. He's technically the main character of the third one next to Al Pacino.
Andy Garcia,
Andy Garcia's character,
Sonny's son.
Yeah, they're developing that. And
I fucking knew it, dude. What did I say?
It's a rumor, but we'll see. But it's gonna happen. You
dude,
know,
I called that. I called it, dude. What did I say? I was like, dude, I was literally messaging him the other day. I was like, dude, I bet you Paramount is gonna do a Godfather either like sequel or prequel series or both, honestly, because they're gonna be like, hey, look, it's like Godfather Part 2. But yeah, I'm sorry. I knew
we'll see. It's a rumor for now, but we know it's probably gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen,
and it's gonna look like shit because they're not gonna shoot on film, and it's gonna be all weird.
Francis Ford Coppola's not gonna be behind it? Yes.
Yeah. Oh no, he's definitely not gonna be behind it.
No.
So it's so I give props to HBO for not taking the easy way out.
The only example, the counter examples that I can think of is Space Jam, but.
Oh, okay, that's not HBO. That's Warner Media. That's a whole.
Okay.
Well, even though Warner Media owns HBO, but they have this weird autonomy or something like that. Even within HBO Max, HBO has their own autonomy.
Really?
So that's why. But then again, it's HBO Max original. But yeah, it's that's why you see stuff like, I don't know, you see stuff like Succession on HBO, but then you have like Love Life, which I heard got better, original and like quality, just like. But now they're trying to combine it. I think this is a product of under HBO leadership or so.
Yeah, because this is definitely it feels more like HBO than it does even like a lot of the just DC or Warner Brothers stuff.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating. I'm glad to hear that it's moving in that direction, because I think Warner Brothers could there's a lot of stuff I like about Warner Brothers as a film company. They usually tend to like back their like creators or like auteur directors, like from Denis Villeneuve to Christopher Nolan. I know that has now hit a kind of rough patch recently
Christopher Nolan
because of HBO Max, because they're like, oh, you know what, we're just going to release our movies here, and that's caused a whole issue. But I feel like there's enough good there, and I think goodwill, and I feel like they're kind of, everyone's still finding their place right now in this like streaming service world and what exactly that means, especially with COVID. I just like that usually they back up good creators.
Yeah, it's like a filmmaker driven. Well, it used to be a filmmaker driven studio.
Exactly. And especially with something like Peacemaker and what they're doing with James Gunn really kind of affirms that idea for me, at least so far. So we'll see how well it continues in the future, and hopefully they learn from their mistakes and they kind of carry that forward. And that's basically what I want to see Warner Brothers carry over to HBO. But I think even HBO's usually pretty good with that, like their creators and stuff, right?
Yeah, for the most part. Are you surprised? Okay, so let's get it popularity of the show is that this show is oh, don't worry, we'll talk about the actual show soon.
Yes.
But this show apparently was the number one streaming show for a while, and more people have seen it than the Suicide Squad.
That does surprise me, honestly, because I know that Suicide Squad didn't do that great overall, which was honestly disappointing, because I was like, man,
they got fucked.
It was just a whole mess. Again, it was like during COVID, there was like a resurgence and stuff, so it's like it just led to a lot of issues, I think. But I was disappointed that didn't do that well, so I was surprised that Peacemaker is actually really taking off. I'm glad to hear it though, because I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. It's and let's just go straight into the star, the John Cena as Peacemaker.
John Cena.
I honestly, when he was first cast, I was like, look, I kind of had enjoyed him. I think he was fine in Suicide Squad, but I was a little worried that was he gonna be able to carry an entire show by himself?
Yeah,
with his acting ability. But then, I mean, like we saw Fast 9. I mean, he carried that film. To be fair, honestly, he was one of the better parts of that film.
Honestly, yeah, and also the only thing similar to that I'd seen before Suicide Squad was cock blockers.
Oh, the blockers one, yeah. And he was the best part in that one.
Honestly, he was so much funnier than I was expecting. That was the first time I saw John Cena act, and even do comedic acting. And I was like, okay, John Cena's funny. I was like, that's good to know. Like he's pretty good in this. And then but again, yeah, same thing. I was like, is he gonna be able to sustain that? We'll see. But he did. I think he did a great job.
Yeah, it's like he's been sprinkling in. He's like train wreck. He's like, I'll be there with LeBron. But now, yeah, it's good. I'm glad for John Cena, and he killed it. Not just with the comedic aspect, but as his performance, with his dramatic performance.
Yeah,
surprising in certain parts where he's just not talking. It's just his facial emoting, and I was like, my God, this giant muscular baby can act. I was like, not bad. And I can't see him, like, I know originally it was gonna be what's
Dave
his name,
Bautista.
Dave Bautista, and I'm like, I'm kind of glad it isn't now.
Yeah,
Even though,
same.
even though Dave Bautista, I think he has been coming into his own and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I think John Cena's a little more emotive, and he's
Yeah.
also has better comedic chops than Dave.
Yeah, I think he's kind of perfect for this role in particular, even especially the way the direction they took this character of, like,
Yeah.
you know, of course, like his father being like a basically a neo-Nazi and stuff, and like that just wouldn't have worked with Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
But like
He's
yeah.
like half Filipino or something, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Just he does no. He's it just wouldn't have worked. But no, I think John Cena, he just has like this he has like a kind of vulnerability to him that I think works really well. Like he looks like a, and also yeah, I think he does just look funny. Like I know that sounds kind of mean.
No,
like,
he looks like a
offense.
muscular sad baby, and not in a bad
he's
way.
Like,
Like
yeah,
it
when
works.
in his tidy whities in the first episode, I think for good reason they had him again in the
And
tidy
tidy
whities and
whities.
stuff, because he looks like, yeah, like a muscular toddler, and it's hilarious. And I think he's down with it too. He seems very open to like just joke about it and everything. So, and I think he's got great timing. So I'm yeah, I'm glad to see him.
Oh yeah, he's fully committed to this. He's like an executive producer on the show with James,
Oh, that's so great.
which makes sense. Like he's like, it also give me hope that, like, you know, if they did make future seasons, he's not gonna be like, what's it called? Oh, we just have our what's it called, Roxy, which is Ron's dog, and she's grinding against the floor. We're exposing you, Roxy, live television.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's getting exposed.
Or no, live podcast. But yeah, I like it. I love his commitment to the role. I love the fact that he's willing to go with any jokes. Apparently his improv abilities is actually really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just based off of like the end credit scenes.
Yeah, it
the
was just
jokes.
constantly going on. It's like the duck thing. Remember, he was
Yeah.
like, you know, if it doesn't, it's just like, I was impossible. Dog can't possibly fit in a human outfit, and you'll know that it's not a human, it's a duck. And I was like, okay,
Yeah,
that's great.
his beak stretching out his face. How'd that even work?
And he's like,
his pants with like the web feet, and like, oh, that's so funny. Yeah.
and obviously he pulls off the action sequences really well. He's like the perfect actions. Like he could pull off the action. He's committed to the character. He's great at improv, and he's also looks like a muscular baby, which is how I imagine Peacemaker now forever. The end of time, and it's just like it's a worldwide. Like it's if anything, it's a weird way. I put him now in the upper echelon of like Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, as like. I could no longer see any other actor as that character.
Yeah, like the roles have become them, or they've become the role. It's great.
Like other, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But you know, second MVP. And this is funny, like the casting story. We'll get to in a bit. But Freddie Stroma as Vigilante.
Oh,
Agent
yeah.
Chris. Dude, he was great. I wasn't expecting. I never liked Vigilante as a character.
I was not familiar with Vigilante, honestly, so I had kind of like, I was just open expectations. Like, we'll see what happens.
He's literally just like a vigilante. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all his character is. But in here, he's like violent. He's a psychopath.
Yeah, I love that he's basically like
But he's a lovable psychopath.
exactly.
Yeah.
He's a lovable psychopath. He's got like, he does have some form of empathy, but he just like it's almost like he's someone who had
Misguided.
all of their emotions wiped away, and then now he's trying to like rebuild them.
Yeah, he's
Like,
trying to gain it from other people. He's like looking, is like, that's odd. Why are you crying about your dad's death? Okay, he's like, it's like he's taking mental notes on how to act like a human being.
It's like, honestly, I was expecting him to be a butterfly or like an alien at some point because of how inept with human emotions.
That was a big theory on Reddit as we're going. What's it called? I know you binged it recently, but then
Yeah.
but going week to week, everyone was like, who's the butterfly in the group, and everybody was predicting the vigilante.
Yeah, because he has very like sociopathic tendencies where he just doesn't seem to understand human emotions. But like, I think they're just however they're gonna explain it with his, I'm sure, really messed up past will be fascinating, and I'm sure hilarious in its own way.
You know, actually, he was he had another. He was like from the guys who's, I think Sons of Anarchy or Minds. I forgot, like another white guy, whatever, white actor, was originally playing Agent Chase Vigilante, and he shot like 5 episodes with him.
Oh.
And then he was, and apparently they disagree because, you know, James Gunn has a specific tone and feel.
Yeah.
And I guess the guy wanted to go way more serious, and he didn't agree with the jokes, and he didn't agree with the naive psychopath nature of the character.
Yeah.
So James, like, I guess they were very peaceful, and they're like, okay, sure, you know, like, we'll part ways.
Yeah.
Very professional of them. There's no drama.
That's good.
But and he got Freddie Stroma. He called Elizabeth Banks because they worked together on Slither, and he produced that Brightburn movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then so he's asked like, "Oh, is Freddie Stroma cool? Is he a good actor?" She's like, "Yeah, take him." And they reshot all the scenes with his face off, and they had him dub over the scenes with like his mask on for the first 5 episodes. And that's why if you notice after the 5th episode, his mask is off like a lot more.
Yeah. That's great. I'm so glad they did that.
And he just like is also look. I think like if you guys follow us on Instagram, I went into season 2 renewal. I like made sure to find the one emoji of his face, like doing the facial emoting.
I was kind of hoping that his face wouldn't be like his mask wouldn't be off so much afterwards. 'Cause it tends to happen with like superhero films, especially in like live media. And I was like, I feel like this guy is like a fairly unknown guy. So I was like, maybe they won't have that constraint to just be like, let's keep the mask on. But they ended up taking his mask off a lot more. But I think for the most part, it worked for certain scenes, him just emoting more and him just like, again, seeing his facial expressions at like certain key moments were, very crucial. But yeah, no, it was still great to see.
I did love that in the threesome in the first the second episode.
Yeah.
Like he had his mask on.
Yeah.
I tried to cover my identity. Which was also smart because it's probably like the actor just dubbing over. Stuff like that. I would love. They said that Vigilante is gonna come in future DC properties and Peacemaker and other stuff. I'm glad. I honestly would love to see him interact with Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
See what the fuck that'll happen.
I will say, that'd be so much fun.
Yeah,
that'd be hilarious. But I was gonna say, like, one of the things I love so much about Peacemaker is how it just basically fits into the rest of the DC world and how it expands.
Yeah,
like Kite Man, Matter Eater Man or Matter Eater Lad or whatever, Batmite, they're all canon now. It's like, who the hell would have thought, like anyone but James Gunn, of course, would pull Batmite out of nowhere and just be like, oh yeah, this like this interdimensional like being who's basically like has godlike power but just stands Batman. Like that's now he's officially canon and like that's hilarious. I love that.
It is.
That's great. I'm so happy. It's the same thing with like what he did in Marvel basically when he like pulled out Howard the Duck. He's like, yeah, look, Howard the Duck is here. It's like,
Howard the Duck is canon and stuff like that. Oh god, it's so weird.
Makes me so happy.
And I'm glad. And I know for me, I guess like it's a weird one, but Kite Man being canon too. I don't know. I love the weird. I love that he's such a punchline character.
Yeah.
And then just having him. I want to see an actual Kite Man live action and just him and his kite.
Did he mention Calendar Man? Or no, Calendar Man is in Suicide Squad.
No, Calendar Man's already in Suicide Squad. I think it's played by Sean Gunn actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do love like his James Gunn's deep knowledge of the DC universe and his comic book fan. Like that's why you should have comic book fans. I mean, you don't have to always.
Yeah.
But at least make sure your director or your creator is well versed before you start the production.
Yeah, that they know and respect the source material. Not someone who's like, I hate superheroes, but I'm just gonna make it in my way. It's like, okay, well, great. Guess what? Now it's just gonna be some cynical.
You mean like Joe Johnson for the guy that Captain America 1, who knew nothing about Captain America, and he made that.
He's like, yeah, America.
Yeah,
right?
it's like, we'll montage. We'll put like a 20-minute sequence of him punching Hitler, and that's what makes Captain America interesting.
Honestly, I'll say the first Captain America is a little underrated.
I don't think it's bad, but
it's better than it should be. I'll say in a lot of ways. I'm like,
but
yeah,
it feels more like it's like, have you ever seen Rocket Man by Joe Johnson? It's like it feels like Rocket Man, but with Captain America skin. And it isn't until the second Captain America by the I was gonna say the Jonas Brothers, not the Jonas Brothers, the Russo Brothers.
The Russo Brothers.
That it feels like a legit Captain America, like actually focusing on what made Captain America interesting.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like
it's thematically, exactly. It's like, okay, and then it just, of course, bring him into the new world. But whatever.
Oh, we're going back to Peacemaker. All right, and let's talk about some of the other side characters. Like, okay, well, I mean, she's the main character too, but Leota Adebayo, who is Amanda Waller's daughter.
Yeah,
I was surprised. Danielle Brooks, I liked her in Orange is the New Black. I thought she was not done, but I didn't think she was gonna have a major role like how she was in Orange is the New Black. But no, she has a bigger role than she did in Orange is the New Black, and in this one, and she pulls it off excellently.
Yeah,
and also I can't see anybody else with this type of charm where it's like she's deceptive and lying bitch, but at the same time, I can't hate her. She's so like lovable and quirky.
I just love that, again, she has that, like, she's basically just trying to find her way. She's trying to figure out who she is in this world, and especially, like, the relationship with her mom.
Yeah.
And the fact that her mom is Amanda Waller, who is one of the most terrifying, just, like, entities in DC.
Yes.
Like, if anyone who's just street level, she's the only person who can, like, possibly intimidate like someone like Batman or something.
Oh yeah,
where it's like they're capable of like, you don't know what, like, like she will sell human life at the drop of a hat if it thinks that it'll like, further her own goals. And the fact that Adebayo, who doesn't seem to really understand that. But as throughout this, the series progresses, she really, just from hearing words that like everyone else is saying around these people, like everyone calling her out, and the fact that these people, all of them have like do some pretty despicable practices, but even they're like enough to like acknowledge like, yeah, Amanda Waller is like evil.
A next level.
Yeah, she's horrible, and it's like makes her question herself and her own values and where her loyalties lie and stuff. And it's like, it's hard to go against your own mother, especially someone who is her mom, who she treats her like a daughter. Like she actually seems to be
she's
like
very humanistic towards her daughter.
Yeah, it's like of all people. But again, I think that's just part of what makes Amanda Waller such an interesting character. She's
a psychopath, but with the soft side. It's like Tony Soprano, where like he's doing this, he's killing people for horses.
Yeah.
And he's what's it called? He thinks he doesn't think twice about killing women for his own capital greed.
Uh-huh.
But behind that, he has like a family that he's like caring about, like he's dealing with his daughter's depression or some shit.
And you could say like that's part of like the basically what's it called, like coping, or like basically justifying her actions to say like, I'm doing it for this. But in actuality, I think she really is like a very selfish, self-motivated character, and ultimately she just cares about like power and control. But part of that, like I feel like those narcissistic tendencies tend to like overlap to someone like her daughter, where her daughter, she thinks of her, I think, more as probably an extension of herself. But hopefully that's something we'll be able to explore in season 2, which we'll get into like for speculation. At the end.
I have like some pitch or theories. I'm hoping that this is the case.
Yeah,
because I know James Gunn is a big fan of certain shows, or from what I've heard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of the other, let's just like run down some of the other supporting characters: Emily Harcourt, Myrn, Economos.
Yeah,
those 3. I love them all. I was surprised that these side characters from 2 of the side characters from the Suicide Squad was kind of elevated, and not only were they funny, but they also had a deep emotional impact on me with certain scenes. Like
everyone had an arc.
Yeah, everyone. Wow. Like I don't know,
but again, we should know this from James Gunn, where it's very typical of his writing, from the Guardians to like Slither.
Everybody has arcs. Everybody has a like their character ends up in one place and ends up another in the end, and they have moments that improve. And but it's humanizing, but at the same time it's there's a internal character change that happens. Well, everybody is like especially with Harcourt, who was a lot more detached and emotionally unavailable at the beginning.
Yeah.
But through her interaction with Christopher Smith / Peacemaker and the group, she's beginning to trust what it means to be in a team. And at the end, like she bonds with all of them.
Yeah.
And she becomes an emotional human being, actually.
And also, what it takes to be like a leader of a team too. Which is great to see.
She was able to step up with Myrn after Myrn died. Oh, which we'll get into a bit.
So sad.
Yeah. And then and John Economos, who was kind of a joke character in the beginning.
Yeah.
But at the end, with his one speech about like his dyed beard.
Yeah.
And talking about why he does that, because he feels lonely and he feels that like he's not attractive enough or he's very insecure, and how that joke becomes into a revealing moment about that character's insecurities.
Yeah.
That's so James Gunn. I
beautiful.
love that.
Yeah, it's really just sweet. Again, because of the fact, like I feel like a less experienced writer or just like a less accomplished one would basically just be like, would just have that joke and just be like, hi, isn't it funny? We're making fun of like the fat nerdy dude that's got dyes his beard and like whatever. And that would be just the end of it. And it just comes off as like mean. And it does come off as mean in certain here. And then, but
there's
use
a purpose.
that.
There's a purpose to that.
Exactly. It's like, for one, these characters like Peacemaker that is making that joke, he beats himself up about it later too, which is like interesting and like nice to see. The fact that he self-reflects and is like, God, why do I keep doing this? I keep pushing people away. But at the same time, having oh crap, what's his name? Economos. Economos.
Which is the comedian Steve Agee, which I love.
Yeah, I haven't seen him since like honestly like the Sarah Silverman program.
Oh right.
To see him there and stuff. But no, I'm glad to see him doing stuff. But
did you know?
No, yeah.
Speaking of Myrn, who we find as a butterfly, who was like this, he's always like instantly that guy was like Chukwudi Iwuji. I'm sorry, I'm saying I'll call you.
I think it's Chukwudi
Iwuji.
Yeah,
Chukwudi. I'll call him Chukwudi. Honestly, instantly, I don't know what he had, but he had like instant screen presence.
Yeah,
the way he spoke, the way he carried himself, I was like, I'm so interested in this guy, and it only elevated the fact that he turned out to be a butterfly.
Yeah,
and he has an interesting perspective on this whole matter where he's actually is the enemy, but he turned turncoat, He was a turncoat basically, and he's the one helping them because he has a different philosophy from them. And even the like Goth and the butterflies have their own interesting background, which I hope maybe gets explored in season 2. We'll see.
We'll see.
Not gonna lie, I was very sad that Myrn died, and I think a lot of people too, because I didn't know that in the leaderboards or popularity contests he was always number 1.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I guess it makes sense too, because I mean he was so funny, and he was basically playing the straight man to all these characters.
An interesting straight man.
Yeah. And also, like, he could roll with the punches of, like, the comedy parts as well. He didn't just feel like a wet blanket. Like, he would toss something every once in a while, like, it's Berenstain Bears.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Or he was like, why are we talking about this? Or, like, it's just, I don't know. He's just funny. It was great. It was great to see him there. And, yeah, legit really sad when he finally dies. I was like, and I was like, maybe there's a chance he's still alive. She only kind of crushed him. Maybe they can like heal him or something. And then when they were holding him, picking up his hands, I was like, oh shit, maybe he's alive. And then no,
he died, because they even had a touching moment where hardcore like touches their fingers touch and stuff.
Yeah.
I was sad. I hope he, I don't know. I mean, he's dead. He's just dead.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's just dead.
He's just dead. I hope when we get to see speculation, I hope there's a certain character I wish will fill that role. And I think we both know who that character should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last one I really want to talk about is the Augie Smith, White Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Patrick, who I liked for the most part. He's not my favorite part of the show.
No.
Yeah, I mean, but he was done well enough just to inform us about the character and his daddy issues and how that came to, like, him and Christopher Smith's backstory with his brother and his father, and how they informed his vow to make peace. I did like that, how they used it. And not gonna lie, I also did like, I mean, it was so stupid. It's basically like his own version of Voltron, Ultraman, or the anime stuff, the White Dragon, but it's Nazi version.
Yeah,
they're fighting, which is funny.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't take kindly to hearing that. Like, what? No, this is the white power version. But no, yeah, it's great to see Robert Patrick just anytime, really. But no, yeah, I think I mean, think
like, just even the look of the fucking outfit, looks like
the big outfit, like the button up, like shirt and everything with like the high waisted pants. Like he just looks like despicable.
Yeah.
And then the fact that he is one of the most despicable characters I think in the TCU at this point, arguably like the worst one. But like he's just what he informs in Peacemaker's character is what's
necessary.
So crucial. Yeah, and important, and I'm glad that he was there. And
and he'll continue to be there, because even after he dies,
what's
it called? He haunts him. What a great excuse to have Robert Patrick everywhere. You could tell James Gunn is like, oh, Terminator 2. I love Terminator 2.
I love the joke when he's just like, he's going for the blow dart when his like spirit shows up. He's like, what are you doing? Why don't you go for my gun? He's like, I'm not gonna go for the gun. It's too lousy. You're like too loud. You're metaphorical. He shoots a blow dart at him. He's like, yeah, that's what you get. You're gonna die. And but I like how they're like, again, they're foreshadowing how this is going to become a bigger issue, or this is definitely a showing of like this, like, this is not over yet. He's not over these scars, which is great, because like in real life too, like that kind of trauma takes a long time and some serious processing to be able to recover from, if you can ever fully recover, which you probably can't. You just carry that with the rest of your life. And now he's literally carrying the ghost of his father with him. So we'll see where he gets to go with it. I'm interested. It'll be fun to hear Robert Patrick being a bigoted, racist, sexist, terrible person hanging around Peacemaker.
Isn't he called like what's the character's name? Sophie saw the Asian detective.
Yeah,
like he was like Chow Mein, like Detective Chow Mein or something like that. Yeah. It was some weird shit.
I like how he like tells her something about chopsticks, and then she's like, "Oh, well, like a spoon or something," or you say like, "Oh, yeah, okay, fork." She's like, "Fork." He's like, "I don't know."
Oh yeah, because the guy fucked up. Like
it's like I should have said spoon. Yeah, it's like babies use spoons. It's like adults use spoons too. Yeah, but he doesn't know that. It's stupid.
And then what's called one. Okay, let's. As much as I love the show, I do have, I guess, some criticisms. I guess let's get into kind of that for a bit.
Okay.
I like Judo Master, but I feel like he was kind of underutilized, or maybe utilized perfectly. I felt like for me there wasn't a huge payoff with that character.
Yeah.
Yes, and maybe there will be in season 2. I'm holding up my huge criticisms for that, but I did feel underwhelmed with what happened with this character this season.
No, that's totally fair. He kind of just seemed like a repeated joke character at first, but And the fact that they included a whole scene where he like steals a car in order to go confront them, it's like that wasn't really necessary, other than like I guess you get the joke of him beating up these douchebag dudes, and then the repeated Cheeto joke
Yeah.
where you just like he really likes Cheetos. Um, but yeah, that's kind of it. It kind of rang a little hollow. Didn't really have much follow up for it, but they do again. They show his reaction at the end when he finds all the butterflies dead. So
He was genuinely believed in the cause, which I wanted to see more of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I feel like they might like again.
I mean, he's
James
for sure
Gunn,
season 2.
Yeah, he's probably gonna be in season 2. I mean, he was in the opening for Christ's sakes, but I mean, so
Yeah.
was the janitor, to be fair.
Yeah.
And the old man. But like, but I really believe that he'll probably be carried over. I think James Gunn doesn't really like to leave too many characters behind.
Yeah.
I think he likes to find use for them. So I would not be surprised if he comes back in like a more significant way.
Right. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm holding on my criticism because I feel like in James Gunn I trust, and I
Yeah.
feel like he will. All this stuff will pay off in the
Yeah.
future seasons. And maybe that's unfair, honestly. They're
Yeah.
giving him too much leeway, but
Yeah, but it's like for me, minor
track record.
criticisms. Yeah, it's like there was like probably like for the most part, I think all the comedy was done really well, and all the dramatic scenes were usually found like really good balance. But finding that balance can be tough at times.
yeah.
And for me, like one of those moments where I was like, "Oh man, I wish he just let the drama play a little bit longer." Was when Peacemaker kills his own father.
Oh yeah.
And
And
then-
Vigilante's like, why are you crying?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
why are you like practicing your muscle exercise, your face exercises or something? And it's like, okay, like yeah, that's funny. Like it made me like chuckle, but also I was like, I really kind of wanted to stay in this moment a little bit longer, before you kind of undercut it with the comedy. But yeah, there was like a handful of moments like that, but for the most part, I think it was like again, the drama was played very well. Like even for like just another example, I think it was done better was when Peacemaker couldn't shoot the kids, like couldn't
Yeah.
shoot that family, and
was
he was
great.
like he was struggling with it, and they played it straight. Like
Yeah.
he didn't have it in him at like I think like most people you would hope doesn't want to just straight up blindly kill children. He's like I'll kill children, but like only for a good reason. But even then, you kind of already know that like not really. He just probably doesn't want to kill people anymore.
Yeah.
Especially children, understandably. But then Vigilante takes over. He starts killing people, but then he starts kind of joking around saying like, Mama Bear down or like Stacy Bear down, whatever. And it's like, okay, like the dramatic part kind of already played its course, and then you move on to like,
the thing. And if
comedy.
anything, it's like it's a horrific comedy.
yeah,
Yeah, because he's like you see somebody who's actually quite enjoying it. It's a good contrast between the two characters.
exactly.
And that's when it works the best.
Yeah, and crucially, they cut to Peacemaker's face, and he's just kind of looking like a little bit
Like Vig. Like,
scared. Yeah, like what the fuck? Like you're a little way too into this, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's like the better example of it. Yeah, that I would like to see more of, really, in like season 2.
I do. And then I guess another criticism is I'll give positive for the CGI. Absolutely fantastic for a TV show.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, it did look like a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing absolutely spectacular with cinematography or the look, and it's serviceable for this season. But if they're ever trying to raise the stakes, and I know he could make good looking shit because like with Guardians,
Yeah.
and even with Suicide Squad, which I think is one of his best looking films that he's done. But to be fair, that movie had a $180 million budget. But even then, like just some of that into this. But I also, from what I heard, is that they had to rush making this because he was making this within his break time between his and Guardians or his press for Suicide Squad. So I get that they were limited on time. Probably didn't have time to like put up all the lights and like okay, let's like what's it called? Let's let's put the light under here to make this type of light shadowing or whatever, etc.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, it did feel like mostly flat. Honestly, a lot of the lighting and just staging was not its best.
But the camera work is good. Like, the last episode with like the one takes for a lot of the characters. Like, was a really great one take when Hardcore Vision, Peacemaker were all like fighting with the shield, the guns, and his the Vigil's katana who was slicing off heads, which was nice. So I'm hoping going forward, and maybe because like I've noticed it more because I was like I'm watching Euphoria and it's hard to compare Euphoria and this at the same time. And I'm just like,
They're so similar. What do you mean?
I was just like, I wish. But I mean, to be fair, like very different shows. Yeah, I hope that improves in season 2 going on. Okay, before we get into season 2 speculation, favorite episode title. Mine is The Chode Less Traveled.
That's not fair. You really took a good one there.
I know. I'm sorry. I had to because I knew you were gonna say that. Yeah.
Honestly, I know. I like the it's cow or never.
Yeah, it's Cow and Never. Honestly, all of them are pretty cool. Like a whole new world.
Yeah, Mern after reading. Stop dragging my heart. Monkey Dory. It's just great. It's
Yeah.
good.
What's it called? Yeah, I'm sorry. I took the cheap shot and showed less travel. Which honestly,
I was watching it with Rosie, and then I was just like, the title screen came on. I was like, the chode less traveled, and she was doing something else. Turned around, she was like, "Is it really called that?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, that's the episode." She's like, "That's fantastic."
it's like the show. I'm so glad that season 2 is coming out. All right, let's go to season 2 speculation. I think we were talking about the Amanda Waller character. I think I hope they convince Viola Davis, like they get a bigger budget.
Yeah,
they have to. Come on, it's the #1 show. It beat Book of Boba Fett for a long time, and that show had a fucking huge budget.
That's crazy.
So I'm thinking, you guys, you're HBO. You got bought by Discovery. You have a new cash influx.
That makes me so happy. The fact that like a
It's no longer
character
on-
like Peacemaker, who like, you know, who the fuck knew who Peacemaker was, compared to a character like Boba Fett, who's one of the most iconic Star Wars figures. But the difference is one is a very well written show, and the other one not so much.
Except for 2 episodes.
Yeah, except for 2 episodes, but those don't even count. It's not even the fucking show. Anyway, but yes, I'm glad. Yes, for season 2, yes, I would love to see Amanda Waller honestly be like a much bigger part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to see her dynamic with. I want her to be the Tony Soprano of the show. Like essentially, like she's essentially Tony Soprano of the DC universe, where she's like a mob boss essentially, but like on a bigger scale.
Yeah,
And I guess now with the Adebayo character, she has like what's it called? I know for you have this look because you haven't seen the Sopranos, but it makes sense once you watch the show.
I feel like isn't Tony Soprano more like sympathetic though?
No,
Really?
later on, no.
Okay.
Let's just say this, especially season 6. I mean, he is. I always loved the character,
Yeah.
but season 6 through 8. He literally kills like one of his captains over a horse.
Okay.
And he does some he does some shit. Yeah.
Okay, to be fair, yeah, like I said, I haven't seen The Sopranos, so I'm like,
Which we will soon, you guys. We will have a full thing to everyone's dismay. What's it called? And that and The Wire's been 2 shows I'm trying to get Ron to watch.
but yes, we want to see.
Yeah, but I want to essentially
wanna
I'll be
see
the Tony
Soprano.
Soprano. Amanda Waller be the Tony Sopranos of the show and have her dynamic and explore that character further with Adebayo. And also take place of the Mern role.
Yeah,
Which would be great to see and see how she interacts and Task Force X, and maybe this is a secret, lead into Bloodsport coming back, or maybe Peacemaker going back to Suicide Squad 3 if they ever make one and they ever decide let's waste more money.
no, honestly, that'd be great. That's something I would love to see more of. Is basically like more Task Force X
Integration with the show.
Exactly, yeah. Because I was like, that was another thing I was a little concerned about. I was like, this just feels like a mini Suicide Squad at first. I was like, is this just gonna be like they wanted to make a Suicide Squad show, but it's like kind of like almost like that that Deadpool joke, or like they couldn't afford the rest of the Suicide Squad. I was like, so they just have Peacemaker. I'm like, that's fine, but I feel like it works for this show. Like honestly, just keeping the focus on him was really well done. But yeah, I would like to see them integrate more of those characters in here. I want to see Ratcatcher, or exactly.
Yeah, I would love to see
Bloodsport.
Ratcatcher and Bloodsport. Those
or
two.
even King Shark, which I don't think they can do.
No, they're not gonna do
They
it for
can't
the
do
There's a
that.
budget for the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they could get King Shark on CW Flash, but
But it looks really funky.
It's not as good.
Yeah.
Actually,
let's what's it called? As part of season 2 speculation, do you think it's just a throwaway joke that the Justice League came at the end, or do you think like they're actually gonna integrate them somewhat?
Honestly, I would love to have like a Justice League character in here. Maybe just like one, like, or just come in every now and then.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that would be
Green Arrow?
Green Arrow would be cool. Or
He's canon, by the way. Yeah, that's great.
yeah, Green Arrow's canon.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Also the fact that like apparently the town that they're in, or Peacemaker's like town or whatever, it's like basically near the county or near the area of where like Green Lantern lives, where he operates, which is I think usually oh crap, what's his name? Like
I don't.
Coast City or
Would that actually
basically
work?
like San Diego.
Yeah.
But I'm like, they could possibly like have like a Green Lantern thing. That would be a whole. That'd have to be like a finale thing where Green Lantern shows up or something. That's like a big
Right,
visual
Green
character.
Lantern Corpses. They're making a show, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, it could be a tie-in. It could just be their way of just like showing like, hey, look, we're working on like Green Lantern show. You like Green Lantern? Well, here's the whole thing on him. They could do something like that. But honestly, I'd be also just as happy for them to have someone like, what is it, like Black Cat or something, or is it Black Cat?
Black
Uh,
Cat.
is it Prowler or something? I forget his name, but he's basically like
Prowler. No, Prowler's
no,
from
Prowler's
Spider-Man.
Marvel. Yeah, yeah. No, but I'm saying like there's one character I forget his name, but he's like basically like a wrestling champion dude who dresses like a black cat. He's like one of the best hand-to-hand combat guys.
Oh, because he
Justice League.
trains Canary.
Yeah, yeah, Canary.
Yeah,
and
I know what you're
stuff.
talking about.
Or even
Yeah,
having
yeah.
a character like Canary or someone like or Harley Quinn, maybe. I feel like she would just steal too much of the show, but
Yeah, that'd be a little. Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
but just have like my point is I just would like at least a Justice League level character
Yeah.
in there, just so that it can kind of again expand that world a bit, just to be like, oh hey, look, there's this guy in here, and it'd just be funny to again have Peacemaker bouncing off of like a more clean cut hero.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. That'd be fun.
Superman. I'm saying no. I don't want to. It would end the show in like an episode.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that would be funny. I mean, it was like depowered Superman, depowered Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I heard someone suggest Shazam, and I'm like, you're fucking crazy.
No,
That doesn't make
that's
any sense.
Like he's a kid,
He's a kid.
Yeah.
He's literally a child.
and two would also end the show in episode. He just says Shazam once,
Yeah.
and that fucking the cow would die. at the
Yeah,
end.
exactly. He would just go in there himself and just completely annihilate the entire base.
That would be boring. It's a
Yeah.
boring show.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so season 2, like I'm curious, yeah, with Amanda Waller character, I'm kind of curious to have that explore. And also I would maybe like to see Bloodsport. I would love to see Bloodsport come in season 2 or 3, and just like, I saw sins of his past and them confronting him by killing Rick Flag.
Yeah.
And also like them they had a great back and forth,
yeah.
like almost like a buddy comedy thing.
Yeah. No, that'd be super
And
fun.
Vigilante getting just jealous and everything. I would love to see that, honestly. Like he feels like a third wheel essentially to the relationship.
It's because, like, let's be honest, Bloodsport's kind of like the much better version of Vigilante.
Yeah.
Way more capable. His tech is like way better and cooler. He's kind of what Vigilante wants to be.
So it'll be funny to see.
Yeah, that dynamic would be hilarious.
Let's go. Yeah. Oh, all right, let's get into final ratings. I give the show on the shelf. We'll see. I mean, some of the criticisms is like the look of the show, not being like super. It's like I've seen it's a little flat cinematography. The camera work is good, but yeah, and also the episodes that James Gunn directs and the episodes that he doesn't direct, I think a big difference in terms of just like visual style. Like, because in the first couple episodes, when he's after he kills the butterfly and he's escaping from the police, you see how he's like jumping from. Like this, it's just a camera tracking him from like level to level. Yeah, and that's cool. That's the James Gunn thing.
Yeah, and it's hilarious because you keep seeing, oh, there's more and more and more. It's like, oh god, it's like he went all the way up to the 6th story. Yeah, it's so funny.
That's why I'm excited, but also I'm a little worried for his personal health because he's been looking aging 10 years every year.
Oh, poor James Gunn.
Like, yeah, he's directing and writing every single episode.
Please take care of yourself, James.
Yeah, take some time. Like, I'm okay with it maybe being like, I don't know, 6 episodes if it's like too much.
Honestly, yeah. Like if this was such a good runtime, it was only 8 episodes. Felt really good. I feel like that's probably the way to go. But if you got to cut it back a little bit, it's fine.
We understand.
We
Take
can
care of
do
your
it.
health.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Health comes first.
Take a rest. Yeah. So yeah, on the shelf for me. What about you?
I'm definitely gonna put it on the shelf. I loved all of the character growth for each of the characters. I loved Peacemaker, the way that they made him become sympathetic. This character who really you kind of hate, kind of by the end of the first Suicide Squad, or sorry, by the new Suicide Squad. So it's like the fact that they were able to turn him into a completely understandable, like sympathetic character, and one that you can't really quite forgive yet until he has like his redeeming moment at the end when he basically says no to the butterflies, which is such a huge moment for him because again, that's totally in line for something that he would be willing to do beforehand.
He killed Rick Flag.
Yeah, the ultimate cost for peace, and he's willing to give that up, but he doesn't. And
he chooses his actual squad mates, unlike in Suicide Squad.
Exactly. In this point, yeah, he basically has learned that like to follow his own, like not this grand idyllic philosophy that's kind of just is a blank check to do literally anything to anybody because that's just what it does, but to have a personal philosophy based on human beings and connections with people that he actually knows and has become, been able to grow and care for. That's great. I love to see that. So I'm gonna put it on the shelf. Yeah. It's got its flaws, but overall, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I had such a great time and I can't wait to see what he does next.
James Gunn. James Gunn. James Gunn.
Whoa, yeah.
That was
Kickstart my heart. We didn't even talk about like the awesome hair metal.
yeah.
track. Again, I love that it's like James Gunn, again, with the musical, like he loves to have music in all of his movies and everything. The fact that he chose this dude is going to have, he's really into glam or like hair metal stuff.
Which is so funny.
It's fantastic, man.
Do you really want to taste it? Yeah, I like that.
All right, guys, what did you guys think of Peacemaker? What do you think this really means for the MCU? Are there any like obscure sorry, DCU DCEU are there any like other obscure DC characters that you would love to see just pop up, or them just to mention at this point in Peacemaker? What are your speculations for what'll happen with, I don't know, Amanda Waller?
I know,
or the butterflies, honestly, because Goff is alive. He was
Goff is alive with only a little bit of food left.
Yeah, so what's
we'll
gonna
see.
happen? Is he just gonna die? Who knows? Yeah. So let us know what you guys think.
And were you guys able to skip the intro? I wasn't. I wasn't.
Yeah, for sure. It's now top the list as unskippable intros of 2022. So great job, you guys.
All right. Thank you guys for another episode of Have a Clue TV review. As always, if you like our content, follow us on Instagram and like and subscribe us on YouTube. And we are, like I said, and catch us on audio podcast platforms when we appear.
Soon. Very soon.
I know in the past 4 episodes soon, but it is. I'm serious. We're working on it. Don't blame us. The submission process takes long. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.